So let's talk about some of the exercises we can do. We can do some very simple kind of exercises that you can do in a normal gym. So something like a deadlift. Okay, but it's not just for gym bunnies. So we've got next to no weight on that. It might be just for somebody that's never been to the gym before, and actually we just want to develop those movement patterns, bringing a bit of strength through the hips, through the knees, through the lower back. Okay, that we can set the weight really low and just go fast. As someone progresses, we can change the weights, we can make things much more complicated. But where this really comes in handy is those functional movements. So we can use things like ankle straps, and we can get people's walking help, so people with instability, balance problems, we can work on all of those kinds of things. So with the ankle strap we can work on lots of things. So we can just work on walking, okay, through applying resistance. We can try and make it a little bit more dynamic. Walk, walk, step. Someone that's had a hip replacement, we can do all the side steps. Really working through the hip muscles. We can make it more complicated. We can progress the exercise. Maybe it's a footballer that's coming in and they've got a groin injury. We can use this machine. We can make it very functional, the way they need to do, the exercises that they need to do. So it might be passing a ball, so we can step, step, pass. Step, step, pass. 1, 2, bring the hip up. Really get control in there. So we can work with tennis players. We can set the resistance to what we want. So here I've got it set to 2.4 kilograms, and then we can work on bringing back some of those movements that they need to do under resistance. Whether it's the backhand. Lots can be done, and we can see, we can train, we can get feedback all the time with the peak power and the percentage of our best one. We can work on static movements for people that have got back injuries and they can't do those rotational movements, but we need to bring back strength. So we can hold a position like this, and then we can turn up the weight without actually having to move. There's multiple ways that we can progress and regress each type of exercise. So as somebody gets better, we can progress it by increasing the weight, or we can make the exercise more complex and more difficult. Or if somebody's really struggling with something, we can regress the exercise, making it simpler. That's not necessarily just reducing the weight, but we can work the muscle in a different way. So maybe just an isometric movement, which is actually where we're using weight, but we're not actually moving the joint particularly. And we can do all of that with this machine. We can work on people that have got balance issues, hip issues, knee issues, and they want to bring back some strength and stability when they're moving about. We can use something like we've got here, which is a simple belt. This fixes around the patient. We can do some simple just walking exercises to build back some of the strength through the hips. We can do some simple deep lunges, getting those movement patterns. This is for people that don't want to hold on to weights because they're feeling unstable. They've got their hands free. Okay, we can increase the weight to make it more difficult. We can lunge or squat. We can lunge into something. All of these things to make it more complex. We can bring in a step. So then squatting, step up. Squatting, step up. All of these are going to be great for rehabbing a knee and a hip after they've progressed so far after having it replaced. We can increase the weight. It can work on a golf player. It's really good for bringing in those rotational strength exercises. If somebody's not been out on the golf course for a long time and they need to do that reconditioning, this is going to be the ideal bit of equipment. We can train there in a functional way to be able to do the stuff that they need to be able to get back on the course. There's an incredibly large amount of exercises that we can do for something like the rotator cuff when we want to do those exercises. So we can work both shoulders at the same time. Doing things like this, very simple. We can change the weight, we can change the speed. We can make it large ranges of motion. And that's where it's so good, we make it functional. We can make it There's different ways that you can use these facilities. So the way it generally works is somebody's coming back from an injury, they want to return to sport, they want to improve their stability, they want to get their hip or their knee recovered from surgery or something like this. And what we would do is recommend a program. It's not just a one session. So the programs are either 6, 8 or 12 weeks long. It can be once or twice a week. We can run classes where there's a maximum of 3 people in here. You're in here with our sports therapist. They're progressing or regressing the different exercises for you at different phases of your rehabilitation. Okay, so they're really working on the strength and the conditioning throughout that whole process. Okay, so that's a group setting, or you can do it on a one-to-one setting. All the classes are 45 minutes long. You can book them by booking online, phoning into the reception, whatever suits yourself.